So the business acumen is very important, and that is going to play a major role for that. That's what, like, as a data analyst, if I have to exist in the market, that is the only one differentiator which will differentiate between the AI tools and me. My best suggestion will be they have to understand one programming language, at least one, at least SQL Server. So data market is not going to go away very soon. At least that's what my belief is. And we have so much openings like in the market. If you search for the data analyst, there are so many roles.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. This side Kumar Vivekanand from CloudyML's team. So welcome to another podcast. We have our guest Ajay Kumar, who has done mechanical engineering and then switched to data analyst role and currently working at PWC. Right, Ajay?
Yeah, right.
So Ajay, let's know more about you from yourself. So please tell us like about your in detail about your education background and then how you managed to switch to data analyst role.
Yeah, so after passing out of the college, right, in 2016, I did not get a chance to get placed in the core company for the mechanical engineering, and somehow I got a chance to join Cognizant in 2016. And in 2016, when I joined the Cognizant, I was not aware of the IT at all. I don't know what is SQL or what is IT, what is the full form of the IT. That is like no, I was not aware completely about the IIT, what we do in that particular things. Okay, so when I went in the training, while training, I got a chance to work as an ETL tester. So they gave me the training of DQ database. They taught me what is SQL, how the data about the data only. Like, so then I started taking, since it is a SQL, so I start getting an interest in that. What is that? How we can query? How we can analyze something, right? How you can find the anomalies. So while training, I got to know as a tester, you have to find the bug or issues in that particular code. Okay, so I started getting an interest in that. Okay, since I have to find error in someone's code and all, so it just gave me helped me to motivated me to work use that one. Okay. Then I got the training and got placed in one of the project as an ETL tester starting initially. Then from there I got a chance to work on the real-time project as an ETL testers. I worked for around 2.5 years in the with the Cognizant, and then I changed my company and joined PWC in 2019. Here I got the 2019 domain was like a financial domain in the current project. Okay, so I got to I was able to relate the transaction on day to day happening in the finance system, right, and able to relate my data with the what I'm doing and what we have to do and how this our analysis and all support to the business. Okay, later on when I got the hold of the business requirement and all, right, I got, and then I thought, okay, if I'm doing this one, it's good opportunity for me to learn a machine learning and all algorithm things. Then I started working on that. So I took a training from the one of I did not paid training, but I using the YouTube I learned like Python. I started doing the analysis using the same Python code and all, like what I was using through the SQL commands, SQL Server. I moved everything from there to do the same work in the Python, and that way I learned Python. And now currently working as data analyst and doing the analysis using financial modeling.
Right. So when did you pass out actually?
2016.
2016. And since then you have been working in this particular field only, right? So
Yes.
two,
Yeah.
2.5 years in Cognizant and then fine. Okay. Okay. So you were in the mechanical branch, right? And you mentioned that you didn't know even the full form of IT, but
Yeah.
still you are working as a data analyst. So what are the top skills you learned and then you entered into this domain?
Yeah. So when I reached out to my friend, those who are working as a data analyst, right, in one of the like in a different organizations. So from there, I got to know it's a very important that uh, see, if you want to, nowadays we have so many AI tools, but they will code for you. but in the current time situations, right, it is very important to understand the business, what they are looking for. Unless or until you don't know the business, you will not able to correct the data, or if your data is not correct, you are not going to use the machine learning algorithm effectively. The best part is first to learn the business, try to understand the business and relate that business concept with your data and domain knowledge with the data, then fit your data as per the requirement, and then transfer means the data which you cleared, right, which you have cleaned, and use the algorithm. So business requirement, business understanding, then the like a SQL server or Python as a tool to just find the remove the anomalies from the data, and the last part is the machine learning.
So along with these skills, what other skills are required to enter this domain?
For me, the best since I am from the QA background, right, I started my career with the QA background. It helped me that to enhance, to understand that different kind of anomalies which can find in the data. So the best part is like look at your data completely. Don't focus on just using the algorithm and all which we have. First, I have to focus on the data. Unless or until we don't know the data from the business and unable to connect the data with the business domain and requirement, then I'm not even going to use the analysis. I'm not going to do the analysis properly. Okay, so the best part is first understand the business, learn a SQL server, at least one programming language where we can do this analysis using that, either Python, SQL server, because yeah, these three things, and then the last is those tech stack which we have.
So suppose some freshers are starting like same as you from mechanical background, and they want to enter this domain. Of course, there are so many mechanical graduates who have switched their or made their career into data domain. So I have so many I have talked to so many people like that. So what is your suggestion for someone who is a fresher and graduated from mechanical background, okay, and wants to enter this domain? So how you would like to suggest them, or what would be your suggestion?
So my best suggestion will be they have to understand one programming language, at least SQL Server, because as you know, business always run on the relational database, right? Even though we are storing the data in the NoSQL DB and all, but when we think about the business, right, it is always relational, right? It is always connected with each other. So it is good to learn the SQL first. Like we should have a good hold of SQL knowledge using any database, either it will be MySQL, SQL Server, or any databases which we have. But at least one, we should know how to use that program, that particular SQL servers and all. Okay, different way of doing the analysis in that particular thing. Once that is done, if you have a good hold of it, then try to understand the business and connect that business requirement or domain knowledge, and then connect your business domain and the knowledge together to do practice using the lot of data set present in the Kaggle. Okay, perform different analysis using the data. Once we are done with that, we are able to clean up the data, we are able to relate the data, and you are able to analyze the data between the different columns or different attribute present in particular that column. Okay, so understanding of business, understanding of at least one programming language, and then if these two are good, we are good to go to the data analysis side of it. Okay, and then you understand the database concept, right? Either the data will be either in the file, or it will be in JSON, or it will be some different format, or it will be in database. Try to read those data, like try to understand those data and read the data, like how we can dump the data into SQL Server, or how I can make our analysis more effective. So Power BI, so like data business, SQL Server, Power BI, and then Python, that will help me to reduce our analysis time. And if these four things are basic things are clear, then we can go for the machine learning and all, anything we can do after.
Right. So almost if we complete learning these skills, how should we prepare for the interview?
Yeah, so the interview mostly, they focus on see, in the data analysis interview, they don't ask out of context. Okay, they will always try to understand how, rather than using the, see, using the algorithm is a different aspect of it, but how we can reach up to that, how I can prepare my data in such a way that our algorithm give a correct input output. When we do the analysis, it should be more, how can I make my model more accurate. In order to make that accurate, we should do the analysis properly. Okay, so preparation of the data. Okay, so they will ask you like, do you know how to do, what will happen if that particular column is having so much of null, what the basic things, how to find the duplication, what will happen if there is a duplication, how you will remove the duplicacy, which data we should drop, in which scenario we should not drop the data. Okay, that we can decide, because during the analysis sometimes they will give you a real time scenario, right? And if you don't know that, if I don't have a domain knowledge, I will not able to think that use cases in proper way, right? And I will not able to answer. So they will ask you like, okay, they don't ask like, they will not tell directly like, okay, write this query, do this one. No, they will give you the scenario, then they will ask you basic, using the basic SQL only. Either you can answer that question using the basic SQL, or if you, I don't know the SQL, but I know I have a good hold of Python, then using that Python we can say that, okay, these are the basic steps which we have to follow, and that way we'll able to prepare my data for the modeling perspective and all. Yeah. So into it they used to ask. Yeah, so I will suggest them that first understand the, keep hold of at least one domain. Like for example, either it is a transportation, if you have a, like I have interest in the business domain, right? So I will try to keep my knowledge, up to date with that domain, right? Then I can say, if they're asking some question related to that particular domain, how I can use my knowledge for that defining the use cases in difficult or different scenarios, right? The use cases which they'll give. Then using that, what are the different transformation which I can perform on that, and what are the different challenges which you are going to face. Those things I will highlight, and then we'll say, okay, at the end they will ask how to do this algorithm and all. So I will, yeah. So basic of this technical knowledge actually they will ask. Yeah.
Okay. So there is a lot of fear among people about the programming language, like I cannot learn, right?
Yeah.
So how to remove that?
See, the way I learned is, it took me 1 year to learn the Python. But earlier I was also having so much of fear of this programming language. I was not like, when I see the curly braces and all, right, it fear me, right? Okay, I get afraid like, oh, what to do? I don't know where to start, where to end, what is the syntax and all. So the best way what I did is, since SQL is it's not very easy, but it's a simple to understand, and it is very easy since it is in like a speaking only, right? So the way what I want, the same thing I can transfer that sentences into a SQL command and all, right? What I did is, the SQL, I have a very good hold of a SQL server as SQL queries and all. While learning the Python, I thought, okay, there is so many things in the Python. I don't have to do. I'm not the person who will know everything for that Python. I don't need everything. So what I thought is, okay, let me know the basics of the Python first. So I went through the multiple videos present in the YouTube for the Python learning. I learned the basic, and then what I was doing using the SQL, I wrote, basic, like what are the different things I have performed the SQL till date. I noted out in the one notepad. Okay. Then for each and every scenario, I thought how I can achieve the same thing using the Python. Okay, is it possible to do in the Python, Python programming? Then I said, yes, I am able to. Okay, earlier I used to take the count in the SQL server. Let me take the count, how I can take the count in the data frame in the Python. I took, okay, this is the way to do the Python. Then in the SQL server, I used to perform where condition. How I can apply the where condition on the data frame in the Python, that I learned. Okay, these are the basics. That way, I got to learn, Python itself. Okay, these are the things which I have to do. This is the syntax. And later on I got to know, okay, these are the only defined parameters for the Python. This is nothing more than that. So now this basic only you have to, as per your scenario, you have to change your Python code little bit. But this is the basic which you have to know for the Python. So that's how I related the Python and the SQL queries, and that gave me confidence that, okay, I can do it. Whatever I need using the Python, I can do using. Okay, I can complete. Yeah. So that's how I learned. But
Okay, so
yeah.
is it like steps, like first learn a SQL and then go for Python, or
Uh,
we can do vice versa?
Vice versa. Some person is very interested in the Python. They will learn the Python quickly rather than the SQL. I have my many friends who know Python in a much better than they know the Python in better way than the SQL. Okay, I will ask them to as far as the way I learned. That's what I'm explaining. That I know the SQL. Now, since I have to learn the Python, I can transfer all the SQL queries in the Python. That way I learn the Python. The people who know the Python, I'll ask them to learn the SQL using whatever you have done, right? How you are making the data frame. Data frame is nothing but then how you can relate the data frame in the SQL server. What is the correspondence of that? Okay. Relate. And then what you wrote in the Python, can we achieve the same thing using the SQL query? So that way the that will help the people. Like anyway, the person who is interested in any one programming language, they can go that for that first, and then you don't have to think or the new programming language in a different way. Just think what you did and what you achieved using the Python, which is on which you have a more confidence, right? I can do this one. How we can achieve the same using the Python, using the SQL? Is it okay? What is the way of do that? That way it will help me to going forward. I can remember, okay, this is the SQL is same as this part of the Python programming. So I can do, and it will help me to remember for the long time, since I have the confidence in the SQL. So that,
Right.
and while doing all these analysis is very important, we know the business. As a data analyst, we should not know only the programming languages and all. Even though, let's say, I know the programming language. I know this. There are so many programming which is available, and I know everything. But I'm not able to understand the business, what they're looking for. So even though I know the SQL query, I know the Python, but while doing the analysis, I forgot what the real actual requirement is, right? Then it will be we are writing so many codes, but we are not even touching a single point what business is looking for. So the analysis is a waste. So these three we have
Right.
to connect. Yeah.
So we should have the business acumen also, right? What
It's
is
very
business
important.
problem and how we can solve that problem using
Yes, yes.
AI, ML, and everything. Okay, okay. So how important it is to upgrade yourself in the current scenario where AI, chat GPT is molding the domain?
The best part is, as I was mentioning in the earlier, right? The only differentiator is going to be the business acumen which you have. See, you know the knowledge. The person, let's say, I have to code something in the. I'm going to ask the chat GPT, okay, can you write a code for me? I have to ask. If I'm not going to ask, the chat GPT will not do anything. Let's say I'm throwing some file to the chat GPT, right? It will do his own analysis. It will do whatever he want to do, but he's not aware, right? What are the different scenario I have to check in that particular data, right? That the chat GPT is not capable of. So the only differentiator is the business acumen which person is going to have, right? Because on day-to-day basis, I am the person who is going to talk with the client. I know the real problem of the client, not the chat GPT. Chat GPT is going to perform what I am going to tell that to do, right? So the business acumen is very important, and that is going to play a major role for that. That's what, like, as a data analyst, if I have to exist in the market, that is the only one differentiator which will differentiate between the AI tools and me.
So yeah, you have mentioned the best part, like what we want to convey,
Yeah.
only that thing can ChatGPT perform. Okay. So
Yes.
earlier the
Yes.
people were having fear that ChatGPT will take away our jobs, but now of course everybody has settled out from that kind of thought process. They understood that it is not going to take our job, but it is going to help our job make easy.
Right. Right. Right.
Right, right. Fine. So if we talk about the job market in the
Hmm.
current scenario, so what is your view? You are already working in a big company like PWC. So what is your view about the job market in data domain? Either it can be data science analyst, Tableau, related Tableau, or ML engineer. So what is your view?
Yeah. So as we know, right, the data is not going. see the difference between the previous years and the current scenario is that earlier people used to believe on the business analyst. Okay, those he's having the business acumen, but he's not aware of the data. So what he used to do, based on my experience, what I will do is, okay, I know the business, but this particular product in the, in the like a Reliance Bazaar. Okay, this particular product is getting sold too much. Okay, what business? But he did not think of other product. Okay, let's say we have a category of 10 or 20, 20 category which is present in the Reliance market, Reliance Bazaar. Now, out of 20, 2 or 3 is getting sold too much. Okay, but we have a certain product for that. Since we are manufacturing less, it is getting sold. It's getting sold, but the quantity is less, right? Let's say I have prepared, let's say I have 1,000 quantity of one particular product. Okay, 900 is getting sold, but we have a 10 product. That 10 is only 10 product I prepared and 10 got sold. See, since we have prepared only 10, if you see the draw the graph, if you don't know the, if you don't compare the data, will not able to say which product is sold, got sold 100%, right? And whether that product is having demand in the market or not. What business analysts used to do is they used to just talk on based on the business acumen which they gather during the college and all. Okay, the key points or the thumb rules was they know. But in the current scenario, it is now the people is believing on the data. What data is saying, that is only going to make me perfect. So the market is going to trust on the data only. Okay, so that is help me that also differentiate the business analyst and the data analyst. Okay, so that is the reason I'm saying it is very important to learn the business acumen, to have the business as well as the data. As a data analyst, I know the data, I know the business acumen. Now I can go to the client and say, okay, see, this is your problem. With the data, this is what I'm getting. Tell me what the decision. Now we have the data also, we have the business problem also. Now we can take the decision with the 100% of surety. But before, no, only the thumb rules. Okay, this is what I learned in the college time. Now this is what the business analyst is saying, is based on that we used to take the. So data market is not going to go away very soon, at least that's what my belief is. And we have so much openings like in the market. If you search for the data analyst, there are so many roles. Okay, and based on the data, because nowadays we have the data, since the data is getting increased day by day, right? And then the security problem which we have on the data, governance problem, that also as a data analyst, it is very important to understand that point as well. So there are like a lot of I can say branches of this one as a data analyst. Want to move, it's not only think, okay, do the data analysis, do this and do that. So,
Right. So you have explained every thing very elaborately, Ajay. Thank you for that. And you have inspired us also by your journey, like from a mechanical graduate to data analyst, and now working at PWC and have vast knowledge about the subject matters also. So thank you so much, and thank you everyone for watching the podcast as well. Okay, we'll meet in another podcast.